What's good, everybody? So this video I'm making right now is going to be my experience about the Sasquatches. What's interesting though is that I knew from what the Sasquatches were telling me that their area is the Appalachian Mountains. What happened last night was we went to the cottage again. And there was a forest that we don't usually go into. My cousins were like, let's go in there. Let's go in there. We go in the astral. They want to go into this forest. We go into the forest and there's reminiscences of something that lives in here. So in my mind, I thought that in this travel, I was just outside of my cottage area. Meanwhile, that cottage was just a representation of being out in the forest. And then we went into the forest in this travel. And that's when all this stuff happened. And that's when I took up this there was a nail gun on the ground and it worked. And so I held it literally like a gun and I was like, this is the weapon we need just in case. That's when we look and then there's like these Yeti people. It's like Yeti men. And they're standing there and they're like looking for people. They're scouting. There was like 3 of them and they were running around. And then we were running around and hiding behind certain trees. And I couldn't find my sister, so that made me scared. So then I said, we got to go find Sammy. So I started booking. I started running, and then you'd hide behind trees because you know it could probably see you at a certain point. And then I found Sammy, and then I was like, we got to run to the door. But then my other sister was like, no, you can't run to the door. It knows we're going there. We have to get out of the forest. So we ran out, and we like jumped out the forest. And then you knew when you're outside the forest, it can't get you. And there's people in the astral that were like there and they were like, what's wrong with these people? But they had no idea. But it's like the Yeti could smell me and it could smell us. What's interesting is after these travels, especially the one in the forest, I got people texting me, hitting me up saying, yo, I had this weird dream that I was in a forest and I saw you with this like gun. And you were carrying people out of the forest. And there was these like Sasquatch Yeti people that you were like protecting us from. And you were getting these people out of the forest and getting them out of their territory. And I was like, whoa. And I had to let these people know, I'm like, that wasn't no damn dream. That was an astral travel. And then that gave me awareness as well as what I was doing. Because I was like, what was, like when you astral travel, you get pieces. And then like this, then people that astral traveled with you, they give you the other half. Or they give you pieces that you were missing and that you didn't remember. And you're like, yo, the bodies, like the bones everywhere and stuff. They don't like when people are in their territory. And the fact that we were in their territory and I was going in their territory to get these people out fascinated me because that was the energy of when I was there. It was like, get these people out. And there was so much more people there that I had to get out. It's really cool how it lays out. So after this travel, I was speaking with the Sasquatch beings and they were letting me know that their territory is in the Appalachian Mountains and that whole area. And they were letting me know that their territory is being essentially taken over by humans and their area is being shrunken. So they're being forced further into the mountains. Now, remember, these people and beings live deep in the Appalachian forest. And it's like the Appalachian rainforest that I'll put a picture of, you can see. And this is their territory. But they were telling me how their territory is being taken over by parks. And right now, parks are trying to do expansions into their territory. And so they were letting me know about this. What's interesting is once they told me this, a random documentary came up on my YouTube labeled the documentary about the Appalachian forests. And it was so fascinating. It was so beautiful. And I was like, damn, this is where I was at in the astral and this is y'all's territory. And so it was being pieced together on where I was in the astral after the fact. And they were giving me information about their territory and all that stuff. It was really cool. And then there were some astral travels after this where I was experiencing what it was like to be one of them. And I got to feel their pain and stuff like that. But what's interesting is they didn't want me to tell people where their territory was because they're so used to people hunting them and looking for them. And so when I posted about all of this on my story on Instagram, they got upset with me. And they were like, we told you we can't trust no humans and stuff like that. But I told them, I'm like, it's good that people know because people are more open now. Ain't nobody gonna hunt you and nobody can enter your territory. It's way too deep in them forests. Ain't nobody, no human could go up in there. And they were upset of how humans are treating them and their forests because humans just do a lot of experimentations on them and hunt them. They're gonna like exterminate them and keep experimenting on them if they didn't stay in hiding. That's what I know for sure. But I don't know if that was an agreement or if that was just like a unspoken thing where they're like, okay, let's stay out of the humans' eyes so then we don't have this happen to us, right? But overall, they don't like how humans are treating them in the environment. It's really pissing them off. But their emotions, man, like it was so full of anger and sadness, but strength. It's super interesting, their culture and their emotions. Emotions meaning how they're feeling right now and how they've been feeling for a while. After this travel, I got to speak with one of the elders of the Sasquatch communities. And he looked like this. He looked like a big Sasquatch, but his skin was white and his fur was white. And he actually took me around the place. And he was like, look, this is our territory. This is what it looks like. And he points at the park sign. I don't know what the park was called. I just knew that this park was in the Appalachian Mountains and Rainforest. And he said, look, they're trying to expand. And he was looking, he's pointing over here and he was showing me their expansion and the plans for their expansion. And he was also pointing at the fake Sasquatch sign that was like, watch out for Sasquatches. But he was giving me information about their culture, showing me the families and stuff like that. And he had to actually walk me through a certain pathway through the Appalachians. It was almost like a portal to grant me access to the area. And I got to see their families. It was so beautiful in their culture. But the energy overall around them was of sadness and anger because they're really sad of how their territory is being shrunken and how much they've been killed throughout history. But also they're angry, like they want to go to war. But they're like, we can't do that. But they're saying how they will be more out in the open during disclosure, which is really amazing. But to talk with this elder, everything he was saying and all the feeling and to see their life, it really sunk deep in my heart. And then I did some more astral travels to understand their culture more and stuff. It was just so beautiful, man. It was really so beautiful. So I'm hanging out with my little brother and we're watching like some Mr. Beast stuff, right? And then randomly a Sasquatch, a guy dressed up in a Sasquatch outfit comes out of nowhere. And I was like, whoa, right? Like out of nowhere, he just pops up. And then when I try and like find the clip again, I can't find it. So I was like, obviously they're telling me like, look, we around, we here. So then my homegirl messages me. She goes, hey, is this the park? And she sent me a picture of some like national park. And I was like, this is it. Like it looked exactly like that. And when I looked, it was the Appalachian National Trails and Parks. And then she texted me and said, that makes sense because it's their birthday today, national birthday, and they're trying to make expansions within the park and its trails right now. And I was like, whoa. Because I was trying to find the logistics of what was happening, what the Sasquatches were speaking about. But I was like, okay, I'll let my guide show me. The GFL kept saying, just wait, we're going to show you in a minute. We're going to show you in a minute. So I was like, okay. So I was waiting like basically all day. And then she comes to me with this. I was like, whoa, okay. Now, they told me about this not so I could do something, but just to be an awareness of what's going on. And I love these beings so much. I mean, all these beings I'm visiting, you guys see I have this pattern with visiting all these different beings that see Earth as home. And now these Sasquatches I love. I want to figure out a new name for them, but I love them. Oh, and I feel them so much. There's so many different types of Sasquatch civilizations everywhere. Now, they have clans in different areas. Like, for example, the Appalachian Mountains, they have their own clans and families. And they always follow elders, and they have warriors and also like family-based people that are just meant to create families or to take care of the families. And then there's also teachers. It's very like, there's a lot of human type similarities to their civilizations. But they have different forms of them. They have Arctic ones in like Russia and Alaska and northern Canada, and then they have ones in like Argentina area. So much different forms of them in different areas of the planet. The ones in Russia are very fascinating. Looking really white and very adapted to like ice. All right, love you guys so much. You guys take care. Peace out.